Welcome back to our Python journey. In our last video, we learned how to install Python on your PC. Today, we are diving deeper into the world of Python programming by exploring variables and data types. Understanding variables and data types is fundamental to mastering any programming language. So it follows Python also. So let's jump right in. First, let's discuss variables. Variables in programming function as containers for data storage. They assign names to values, making it easier to work with them. For example, let's first create a Python file and say we want to store someone's age. We can create a variable called age and assign to it a value like 25. Now, whenever we refer to age in our code, Python knows we are talking about 25. But wait, there are certain rules for naming variables in Python. Variable names can contain letters, numbers, and underscores, but they cannot start with a number. For example, let's define a variable name that begins with a number and watch what occurs. Let's type 3 people equal to police. Now, let's output this variable with the print function in Python. Print 3 people. Now let's run the program. You can see syntax error. This is because the variable 3 people starts with a number. So once again, variable names should never start with a number. They can contain number, but should never start with a number. On the other hand, see what happens if we rewrite this as people 3 equal to police. Let's bring the 3 to the end of the variable name. Same we should do inside the print function also. Now let's run the program and see. And you get the output, that is police, which is stored in the variable people3. Variable names are case sensitive. On the screen, you can see 3 variables named age. You might think that all 3 variables are the same. But since variable names are case sensitive in Python, these are 3 different variables. Variable names cannot be reserved keywords in Python. For example, we cannot use else, while, for, continue, etc. as variable names. These are keywords reserved in Python. For example, let's use one of the keywords break as a variable name and assign to it a value, for example 12. Now let's use the print function to output this variable. Print break. Now let's run the program. You can see here that you will get syntax error. It's because break is a keyword, so we cannot use break as a variable name. It is also a good practice to use descriptive names that make your code easy to understand. For example, let's calculate area of a rectangle. L equal to 5. W equal to 3. A equal to L times W. Print A. In this code, L, W, and A are used to represent the length, width, and area of a rectangle. If someone else, or even you after some time, reads this code, they may have to spend extra time to understand the meaning of these variables. Now, let's rewrite the same code with descriptive variable names. Length equal to 5. Width equal to 3, area equal to length times width. Print area. Let's run the program. We are getting the same results. Now anyone reading the code can easily understand the purpose of each variable without needing additional comments or context. Hence, using descriptive names not only benefits others who read your code, but also helps you as a developer. Now, let's talk about data types. Data types tell Python what kind of data a variable can hold. Python supports various data types, including integers, floats, strings, booleans, list, tuple, range, and dictionary. In this video, we will just talk about integers, floats, strings, and booleans. The remaining will be explained in upcoming future videos. Integers represent whole numbers without any fractional component. They can be positive, negative, or 0. For example, age equal to 25. And here the number 25 doesn't include any fractional component. So here 25 is of integer type. On the other hand, floats represent decimal numbers, including numbers with a fractional part or numbers expressed in scientific notation. For example, height equal to 5.11, width equal to 1.5 E3. Here, height is equal to 5.11. The number 5.11, it has decimal numbers. That is, it includes fractional part. So 5.11 is of float data type. And next width, which is equal to 1.5 E3. And that is the scientific notation we use, which is 1.5 times 10 to the power 3. So this is also a float data type. Strings represent sequences of characters enclosed within single quotes or double quotes. It can be text, numbers, or any character. For example, name equal to John. Here, the variable is name, and John is the value assigned to the variable name. And John includes letters, and it is enclosed in single quotes. So John is of string data type. Similarly, language equal to English. Now this time, language is the variable and English is the value stored in the variable language. And English consists of letters and it is enclosed in double quotes. So English is of string data type. Now let me ask you a small question. What if I include numbers inside a single quote or double quote? That is, for example, age equal to 25. Same, the age is equal to 25, but you compare the first line and this last line. In first line also it is age equal to 25 and the last line also age equal to 25. Since in Python variable names are case sensitive, these two variables are different because in the first line age starts with small a and then in the last line age starts with capital letter E. So both are different variables, but you see both have the same value 25, but the difference is in the last line 25 is stored in between single quotes. In the first line 25 doesn't have single quotes. So in the first line 25 represents integer data type and in the last line, that is 25 enclosed in between single quotes, represent string data type. And next is Boolean data type. Booleans represent logical values, either true or false. For example, is student equal to true. The Boolean represent always either of the logical values, true or false. And true and false are also reserved keywords in Python. Python is a dynamically typed language, meaning you don't have to declare the type of the variable explicitly. The type of the variable is determined at the runtime based on the value assigned to it. Declaring variables in Python is very simple. You just need to choose a name for the variable and assign a value to it using the equal to operator. For example, I am creating the variable age and I will assign a value into this variable using the equal to operator. For example, I want to assign the value 15 into the variable age. Similarly, let me create another variable, that is name equal to John. To declare variables in Python, you just need to choose a name for the variable and assign a value to it using the equal to operator. In contrast, in C, you must explicitly declare both the data type and the variable name before assigning a value. For example, if you want these two same in C program, then you need to do as follows. Int age equal to 25. Then char name equal to John. Here, int specifies the data type for the variable age and char specifies the data type for the variable name. So you can see that in Python, it is very simple to declare variables. Just you need to choose a name for the variable and assign a value to it. Now let's output the variable age using the print function. Print age and run the program. Now you get the answer 15. Now you got the result 15, which is the value stored in the variable age. Lastly, let's talk about variable reassignment. In Python, you can change the value of a variable at any time. For example, initially the value of the variable age is equal to 15. Now let's change the value of the variable age to some other value, for example 56. And now let's erase this print function and bring it downwards. Now if you run the program, what is the output? Will you get 15 or 56? So now if you run the program, what will be the output? You are getting the result as 56. You now understand the basics of variables and data types in Python. Practice declaring variables, working with different data types, and stay tuned for more Python tutorials. Thanks for watching. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tech tutorials. Until next time, stay curious and keep coding.